In terms of the setup, as we said, grip was creeping a little bit further around to your left, I suppose, as you're looking down there, okay? So we can see in that left hand grip, there's no visual of the Strixon there at all. We can't see that. If I do a line up through the club shaft here now, what we'd expect is your left wrist, okay, to kind of be on that yellow line. You can see now it's obviously off to the side there slightly, okay, which is going to cause that. The reason your hand's in that position because your forearm is to twist this way, so the top of your wrist now is moving round to the side. Now that's an unnatural position for your arm to hang. It may feel natural in terms of holding the club, but it's an unnatural hang position. So if you're unnaturally hanging the club down grip position, okay, then when you come back to the golf ball, your hand's going to return back to that natural position, and the club then's going to be aiming 30 yards right. And the way then you try to stop it going to the right, whereas you came to now this sort of left sort of pulling and trying to hit the ball to the left, you can see the left hand still visible, left elbow sort of pulling away from the body, left hand still visible, so your hand is sort of pulling up through this way, and again your left shoulder sort of shruggy, and then your arm starts sort of folding over here. Well, the ball's gone, and I mean, there's nothing done here now is going to help the shot. The golf ball's been hit now with that open club face. The ball now is going to be going to the right. As we said, when you try to stop it going to the right, the shoulder might start shrugging over, which creates a steeper angle of attack. If the club's coming down steeper, hitting the ground behind the golf ball is going to be a common occurrence. And then, of course, if we start thumping the ground as hard as you were on the golf course, if you fat one 20 yards and you sort of trudge forward, I'll still need to go again. Okay, I'll miss the ground with this one. And you try and just pick the ball off the top, then you top it 10 yards. Yeah. And then you're going top, fat, top, fat, top, fat, top, fat. And then when you do get a reasonable strike, it's off the trees. Right. Exactly, okay. So, and I think for maybe a month or so, maybe less than that, maybe more, but just getting that practice sort of thing, putting your left hand on the club, sort of holding it there, as you can see with the club sort of across your toes there, and get yourself with that grip in the fingers there. So when you hold the club now, you can see if we go back to sort of set up here, the difference in those two left-hand positions, okay? Yeah. Your palm is kind of just facing into your right leg, I guess, it sort of comes across this way. Strixon is visible, okay? So as you go through that there now, your right hand's going to sit on top nicely in the finger, so the kind of same sort of position. And the club now, when it goes back down around the golf ball, you can see your left hand is in a much better position relative to that one on the left hand side, okay? So now when you swing through, okay, now this one was the one that went a little bit to the right, okay? Set up where you head a little bit further from the ball. Yeah. Now your spine angle's 10 times better. As your shoulders are getting nearer, you have to just shuffle back your feet. Yeah. We're talking an inch or two. You have to play about a little bit with that, but just finding that sort of position, okay? Not too much, okay? Okay. Now in terms of backswing wise, absolutely fine there. As we start coming back to the golf ball, because that left hand now can return back, say Strixon now is visible as it was before, so if your left hand had been there and it now goes to there, that's an open club face. You'll watch as you start swinging through now, your left hand has kind of started to disappear. If we look at the impact position here now, there, so your left hand is a lot more visible, and your left shoulder kind of just looks a lot higher and just looks a lot shruggier through the golf ball. Left elbow sort of pulling away there. This one now, the left elbow to stay down and release through, okay? Now I want to see kind of that position there, probably about there. So we're literally like 0.3 of a second away from being an ideal spot. The club just hasn't quite squared up, hence why this one went 10 yards right, not lost ball right, okay? The other thing as well, when you played those shots, as we said, that would be good for a warm-up, sort of trying to hit them way left with the club face, maybe like 5 or 6 shots. Every single shot came into the mat with a nice sort of crisp striking of the mat. There was no thump or deadening with the strike. Yeah. Okay? When you try to hit the golf ball left with left shoulder, left elbow, you thump into the ground. Yeah. When you try and do it with a club, your hands start working better. The club just works on a much more shallower angle of the golf ball. It's a much cleaner strike to the golf ball, okay? And that's what we're trying to do. So the club working a lot shallower, it maximises your margin of error in terms of if I hit the ground maybe an inch or half an inch behind the golf ball, if the ground's a little bit wet, I can still kind of get away with it. It won't be a perfect shot, but it might go 60 or 70% distance rather than 50 yards or whatever, or 20 yards or whatever. So it just gives you a bit more. So your consistency is going to be better. And again, if you're not fearful of hitting the ground because the shot's going to be so bad, you're not then going to try to sort of just miss it. And it's that sort of shrugging with that left elbow, left shoulder that caused that. So I think in terms of your practice, if you can maybe get a couple of sessions in, try and be disciplined to do every single shot like that. Yeah. It's so easy when you hit some really good shots in a row, you just keep your hands on the club. I'm not going to change the club, I'm in the right position now and you just drag a ball in. All that does is then it gives more tension and your hands will get tighter and tighter and tighter on the grip. So try and hit a shot, reset, drag a ball in. And if you think about the time it took, I mean, okay, we're starting that probably, I don't know, say 2.5 seconds. You hit the golf ball by 17, so it's 15 seconds a shot. It's not like you're taking half an hour or something stupid. It's not a long time. And I think people get so conscious of actually taking too long, and on the golf course when they speed up, they then rush the shot. And the more you rush the shot, the worse the shot's going to be. And the worse the shot's going to be, the more shots you play, more shots the longer you take. It's a vicious circle, okay? So get yourself on the range, shots there. I would say if you're in 30 balls, maybe 60 balls, depending on what sort of time you get. First 4 or 5, grip the club there. Try and feel like you're doing maybe some half swings, hit them if you're on this sort of side of the range towards the 50 side, if you're in the middle bit towards the end of the netting there, sort of just left with that sort of right hand and the right elbow rotation rather than that left elbow pulling, and then try and find a middle ground. So I suppose in terms of a clock face, if we're going straight would be 12 o'clock, your golf balls were going 1:30, 2 o'clock. So the first 4 or 5 swings, try and feel like they're going towards 10:30, like a sort of a low hooky one. Yeah. Exactly, and then you can kind of find sort of 11 o'clock, 11:30, 11:45, and sort of work back to that middle ground. So that will become, for you become more club head aware of where that club face, what does a square club face feel like, what's a straight club face, an open club face, closed or whatever. You'll become more aware of what the club's doing, and then you can start playing about with the direction. If your ball's just going right constantly, and you're trying to stop it going right by doing the left elbow and that left shoulder, it won't go left, and you exactly further right, you just keep missing it anymore. So it's just an onward sort of cycle of more and more worse shots, and then more and more maybe aiming left eventually when you just give up. Yeah. As much as I'm not going to aim left, which is right, you don't want to aim left, but then sometimes on the golf course if there's trees or rubbish or water, then there's nothing over there, well, I'll aim there anyway and just be done with it. Exactly, yeah. Okay, does that kind of make sense?
Yes,
so in terms of your feelings and in terms of the swing, how do you kind of feel it through the swing? Any sort of feelings or thoughts yourself? So we can go away so I understand. So you kind of get it. Is it where you sort of, I mean, the grip wise feels different?
Grip wise feels different. I think that's going to be the big one, getting used to just doing
Definitely,
that every time.
It's what attaches the golf club.
But the swing, I don't think it changes the swing at all.
It's not. It's more aware of maybe elbow and hands and stuff.
The elbow is, and I'm bringing the hands down with the swing, and then keeping.
Yeah. One thing I would say with the grip, I mean, if you want to increase the progression to make it feel more and more comfortable, if you sat at home, I don't know, watching TV on the sofa or watching whatever, grab a golf club, maybe screen grab. When we get to the right grip there, screen grab that image there, so you know what it should look like. Go to mirror, check the grip's good. Just sit there and just right in midair, or just wave the club around, so just get used to how your attachment to that club feels. If you did that for 10 minutes every day, by the end of the week it will feel so natural anyway. You won't feel like exactly. You won't then need to do as much of that, because that's only help you just trying to get the club in the right position. Once you feel what the normal position does feel like, well, that can go away. Because long term, we don't be doing that every single shot, but in the sort of early stages, it will help you practice it. We can do that. Okie dokie. Good stuff.